welcome back to Crime and Plastic. Everybody, this is going to be the last episode of the year.
Yay.
Yay.
Is that a yay? Or sad?
Well, I mean, to get through a whole year.
Yes, but we'll be back. This will be the last one of the year. We'll probably take a week or two off, and then we'll be back in January with some new and fascinating stories for you. So this episode, do you guys have anything you want to share before I start? Do you have any news? Do you have
I do. Of course, I have
I have some news too.
world
Okay.
plastic surgery news.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, this is the I don't know if it's a crime of the week, but this is the story of the week.
Okay.
From the Daily Mail. L.A. plastic surgeon dubbed Mr. Laguna is hit with slew of allegations by patients over, quote, botched jobs that left one woman dead, close quote. As others say, they were filmed naked, all caps, and unconscious without their permission. The UC Berkeley medical graduate, that's a good school, who has over 80,000 followers on Instagram, is facing a slew of accusations from his plastic surgery clients. Dr. Arian Maulavi would allegedly make women strip completely nude for examinations before touching their bodies without permission.
You know what bothers me when they talk about doctors with their following?
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't mean anything. He probably bought those followers.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that was a
Add that to the allegations.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens to Mr. Laguna.
No, but what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is like,
Like that, it gave
there's
him.
like this witch hunt against doctors that are on social media, but half the doctors that they're witch hunting about aren't really doctors on social media. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
They're not. It's not
Right.
like you.
Right. Me,
It's like
I'm
people
pretty
who
out
want to
there.
be, so they like buy an account that already has followers and change the name to
I
Doctor
s-
pa 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 pa. And then the witch hunt is like, oh, well, that doctor's so focused on their social media. Meanwhile, they have 80,000 fake fucking followers.
I hear you're saying. You're right.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're right. He's not even a social media
Right. Like,
famous.
the witch hunt needs to be on for real doctors on social media. Like, you, come for him. Not Dr. Laguna.
Mr. Laguna.
Mr.
Please don't come for me.
Mr. Sir.
She
I have a
doesn't.
family.
She doesn't want them to come for you either.
No, of course not. Of course not. But anyway, one of the claims here, one of them I just read here, it says,
Fake followers.
no, it says here, she came for a breast lift and mini tummy tuck, but the doctor started talking about her labia,
Ew.
saying, doesn't that bother you? We're just going to cut the lips and stitch it up.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew. Don't do that.
No, don't do that. No, I don't do
Wait,
that.
but what did you come in for again?
The breast and
And
the
a
tummy.
tuck.
So why did they get so far south?
Exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned the hard way.
You didn't learn nothing.
I tell you, no, I will tell you, I learned the hard way as a plastic surgeon that I never suggest anything to patients unless they ask my opinion about a specific body area.
As it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
No,
Because
but-
they're only there for. They're not there for your aesthetic. They're there for their own aesthetic. Like
Well,
what
as
they,
a
what they
young
want.
plastic surgeon, when a woman or a man comes in with like a big nose,
Right.
you know, and says, Doc, you got to help me with this. And he's pointing at his face. And I go, oh, we can make that much smaller. He's like, no, I meant my eyes. And then he's insulted that you mentioned the nose. So I wait for them to like specifically say the
what they're
part.
there for.
They're like, can you help me with this? And I'm like, with what?
What happened to this rule of yours when you saw my arms? Because that
That went out the
that
window.
didn't, yeah.
Because
Because you're like his daughter.
I was
he
like,
feels more
you know,
comfortable.
Do you think I could the arms? The arms for sure. Let me see. Let me grab them.
she's misremembering. Okay. It went like this. She said, one of my friends said I have lunch lady arms.
No, it wasn't my friends. It was a TikTok.
I thought it was one of your
It was
friends.
a TikTok commenters.
I thought it was one of your friends.
No.
I think it was a TikTok commenter. I think I was live and someone said it.
Oh.
They said, why she got lunch lady arms?
Oh.
That's not nice.
That's not nice. But I thought it was one of your friends. So
Mhm.
then I thought, well, if that's what she takes from her friends, we're friends.
How do your arms look, by the way?
They look
Are you happy?
fantastic.
They look fantastic.
Yay.
Just skinny model arms. Now finally all that working out's going to show. You're going to see like cuts and
All the working out that I haven't done.
She's going to do
But you're going to
Wednesday.
do.
And then when I get back from my trip.
Maybe.
What maybe? You know, you leave me all by myself.
I know. Well, you're not. First of all, you're in great company.
I am, but it's still not the same when you have to go by yourself.
I
It is.
know.
It is.
Do you miss my complaining?
Yes. I miss your complaining, and I miss her attention split.
No, so true.
But now she's only focused on me, so it's like I can't.
Get out of it.
I gotta do all my reps.
Yeah.
Be honest.
I
Does
got
she
it.
half-ass everything
Santina?
in the gym?
No.
She goes hard?
Yeah. Santina's very competitive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't
She
go.
is.
I don't
Really?
go like super hard, but like I do complain the entire way. Like
Yeah,
I'll
she
do,
does
whatever
it.
whatever they make me do, I'm gonna do it.
Mm.
In fact, it kind of hurts me to not do the
Yeah, no.
suggested thing.
Yeah.
Because of OCD?
I don't know what it is. Like even when we were at CrossFit,
She does like she's almost like a box checker with that. Like they'll
She
tell
does. Like, she says do 10. She does all 10.
Yeah. And
Good.
she'll like they'll ask us to do something and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like something I don't feel like is
It might hurt you.
Yes, exactly. I tell them I'm in a different space. I'm not trying to be an athlete. I just want to be thin and get like a workout. Like I don't want to hurt myself.
Right.
So like I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. She's like, but I have to.
yeah.
She's like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm
But
like,
then I complain the whole time.
and I'm like, you don't have, we're paying them. You don't have to do it.
I'm like, but I do. They're gonna get mad.
She's like, no, they're gonna get mad. And I'm
Wait,
like,
wait. You tell your personal trainer, wait a minute, I'm paying you. I'm going to do 6. Not gonna do 10. All right?
No, this isn't the personal trainer. This is like in the class. But
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
that,
the
I
CrossFit
mean,
class.
even that, if I don't want to do something, I'll tell her. I'm like, I don't
I hear
like.
you.
There's certain things I don't want to do. Like I don't want to do pull-ups. I don't want to do burpees, and I don't want to.
I
And
hear you.
And I'm not gonna do it
I wish I had that attitude before I broke my bicep.
because if you're gonna do something that you hate, you're not gonna do it. So I just want to do things. I don't mind pain. I just want it to be stuff that
You like
that
the
I like
pain
doing.
that you like.
That I'm good at doing. That I'm not gonna hurt myself. Like I don't want to,
I hear
whatever.
you. Makes sense.
So, but Santina's a great workout partner actually,
Thank you.
and I'm sad that you don't come with me anymore.
No. I'll start again.
Yeah, you're out of the window
gave you
now.
you get
Post-op. You can go back to working
3
out.
days a week of personal gym time. That's great.
I know. No. Yeah. People would kill for that. It's just I'm a lazy piece of shit.
By the way, if you're waiting for your doctor to give you permission to go work out again, I give you permission.
The thing is that what had incentivized me previously to work out was my arms.
Right.
Because when I started
Now I'm perfect.
No, it's your butt
When-
also.
oh yeah, that's true. I do want a fat ass, but now I'm just like, whatever, I got the skinny arms. I'm just a skinny bitch. Like whatever. Like before when I would
It's
gain,
not that serious.
when I would gain weight, it would go to my arms first. So like I would see it so fast. I'd be like, oh no, I gotta get back on the schedule. But now that the fat doesn't go there, I'm like, what's a little
But now don't you
What's
want?
a little chub
a
on
little
the,
chub
on
on
the
the
waist,
side.
But don't
on
you,
the thighs
now
or
your arms
whatever.
can be like super defined.
no, I
though.
know.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And
What
I can
happened
have a
to what
fat
happened
ass.
to Michelle Obama arms?
No, I know. It's
Come
that my
on.
arms low key look Michelle Obama ish without like nothing to work out.
Not even working out. Okay, fine, whatever.
Well,
Okay.
we're gonna try. We'll try at least once a week.
Yes,
We'll try for the
start
once a
there.
week.
Do you have a
It's-
crime and plastic story for us?
Wait.
I do. We're just chatting.
Okay.
My
Once I
goodness.
start going, I become like addicted to going.
Yes.
But it's just when I stop, like I don't get the same.
need to go.
I don't get the same chemicals
Right,
released. You know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
Like my body doesn't know the chemicals anymore. But once I go, I'm like, I gotta go 7 times a day.
So,
Like I said, you have my permission to restart your workout.
our first tale is
Mhm.
about Ronnie Bigs. I think he's kind of famous. I never heard of him though. He did. He's an English criminal. He was born in Stockwell, London, on August 8th, 1929. He was a child during World War II, and he evacuated to Flitwick, Bedfordshire, then Delabole, Cornwall.
What?
I don't know. When the Kinder transport when they like left
No,
London,
the name of that last place. I didn't get that.
Delabole, Cornwall.
Like a hyphenated place?
No, it's Cornwall is like it says Delabole, comma Cornwall.
Okay.
Wasn't it a huge story when you were young when they were naming that city?
Right. I remember. Right.
So
King Arthur.
at 18, he joined the Royal Air Force in 1947. So that was after World War II.
Uh-huh.
And he was dishonorably discharged for desertion 2 years later after breaking into a local chemist shop. 1 month after that, he was convicted of stealing a car and sentenced to prison. On his release, he took part in a failed robbery attempt at a bookmaker's office in London. And then during his jail time, he met Bruce Reynolds.
You know what a bookmaker is, right?
Bets.
Yeah.
A bookie.
A bookie. In the U.S., you call them bookies.
Yes.
I actually knew that because I watched Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Do you watch all the seasons? Are you
Yeah,
like, caught
I
up?
finished it. That shit was
Is
so
there
good.
is it over? Or there Oh, so there's no more seasons? Maybe I will watch it
But
then.
Cillian Murphy said that he's open to the possibility of a movie
Oh,
sequel.
okay. I have to take that show up. I don't know. I
That
can't.
show's so fucking
Everyone says
good.
it's so good, but then I watch I have to get past the first
It's a little
episode.
slow, but everyone's hot and it's really good.
Okay. So after his so this is Big's third time in prison. After his third prison sentence, he says he's gonna go straight and he trains as a carpenter. He marries Chermion Powell, the daughter of a primary school headmaster. They had 3 sons. So in 1963, he needed money for a house.
Well, he's like in his 40s or not yet?
No, 34.
34.
He was
Okay.
born 1929.
Okay.
So he needs money for a deposit for a house for him and his family. And he's working on a train driver's house. So they come up with this plot with this train driver and his prison buddy Reynolds
Mm-hmm.
to rob a mail train.
Mm-hmm.
So the driver was gonna like take over driving the train, and then he was gonna. So his job was to bring the driver, take over driving the train, and then while his friend like stole the bags, whatever.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes,
In 1960,
1963.
he's going to rob a train.
Yes,
That's their big plan.
yes,
What's
train.
wrong with that?
yes. It's the Great Train Robbery.
What the?
Why? I feel
I
like
don't-
that was so like the thing to do in 1963.
No, like 1863 maybe, 1883, where like their trains like are miles of like on the west, in the on the plains where there's like miles between towns and you have like hours to like no one's gonna notice the missing train. In England, in London, a train, where's it gonna? How you not
Well-
gonna get caught?
But I'm saying like what form of communication was there like in 1963? Like they can't really like pick up a phone. They gotta like send a bird or something.
No, but there's like millions of people along the way. I don't know. It just
I
seems
don't
so
know.
wrong. Do you know? Just interesting fun fact.
OJ killed someone in the 90s.
In the 1800s, and got away with it.
Do you know
again.
what I'm trying to say? Like technology was not there until like 1999.
I hear you.
Like, you could do-
Constantina was born in
I hear you.
2000.
You
I
could
got it.
literally.
She
I
read
know the movie started when you were born, and there was nothing before it. I get it.
No, I'm saying the things that happened before were just so lawless. Like literally up until 1999 when they discovered DNA testing.
No, what I mean is, okay, in the 1800s, people robbed trains. It was like a thing for
Well,
a
he
long
was
time.
he was bringing it back.
It was it's so
Going-
retro.
Going old school.
And the fun fact was this: you know that if you robbed the mail, the United States mail, you know what the penalty for that was in the 1800s?
Death.
Death. Death. You got the death penalty because the mail was the only way to ship shit. Money, letters, contracts. It was a big deal. Death.
So
They hung a lot of people. Hundreds of people were hung over robbing postmen.
So basically, this train driver that he kind of took into the plot didn't know what he was doing because he used to drive a different kind of train, and this was like a newer train. He didn't know how to drive it.
Okay, wait. First of all, what is there in driving a train? It's just forward and stop.
I don't know. I'm just
What the fuck?
I'm just telling you the details, okay? He didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't
But
drive.
there's no stop. There's no turning.
He was unable to operate the mainline diesel electric locomotive because he had only driven shunting locomotives on the southern region. I don't know what that means.
I
The
don't
way
either.
that you think that a train is just like stop and go.
It is.
They change tracks. You need to know like if you don't change the track, like you could run into another train.
I hear you. Still not that complicated.
What?
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so then they end up having to like
I would let anybody drive a train.
see how he doesn't let me talk. Anyway, so the actual driver of the train, they had to basically just like beat him up and convince him to keep driving to where they wanted the drop off point. So he did that. They looted the train, and his cut. Apparently, the robbery yielded 2.6 million pounds, which is equivalent to 57.9 million pounds today.
Wow.
How
His-
did they take that out?
I don't know, bags of mail. I'm not really sure how the mail bags converted to money. I guess it was.
With only
Packages
three
of
guys?
shit, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
They
they were-
unloaded 120 of the 120 mail bags. I don't know.
People maybe used to send cash more.
Maybe.
There was, you know.
So Big's share was 147,000 pounds, which is equivalent to 3.2 million pounds today.
Wow.
And after an accomplice failed to carry out instructions to burn down Leather Slate Farm to destroy any evidence there, that's where they unloaded the bags, whatever.
Uh-huh.
His fingerprints were found on a tomato. When did they do fingerprints? When did that start?
1800s. Fingerprints have been around for a while.
Okay.
That's like Sherlock Holmes era.
So they found his fingerprints on a tomato sauce bottle, and he was arrested. And
On a tomato sauce bottle?
yes.
Huh.
So he was arrested and sentenced to 30 years in
On
prison.
the strength of a fingerprint on Heinz ketchup, they get 30 years.
Yes.
Can you imagine like someone just like missing your fingerprint? Like they're just like, that pretty much looks like yours. Like, but they like misread a line on your finger.
Are you saying like it's not as accurate as DNA? You mean?
That's how they did it
Yeah,
by
I know.
people like looking at it.
Yeah. There's no computers.
There was no
for it.
computer. They would
No.
literally be like, "Oh yeah, that's the correct line."
But they did usually show. I remember in the old programs they would show it in court, so like the jury could look at it and say, "Yeah, that looks about the same."
But how did they match them?
They
like
just
what-
they line them up. You make the two things.
I
they
know
put them
that, but
over.
now it's like they run it through a database on the computer to find a match. Like, how did they just pick out Biggs's? Let's check it. Let's take these fingerprints and match them against this guy.
That's a good question. I think they have. I'm guessing that they had
They have to take your fingerprint.
major patterns, and then they categorized them in those patterns. Like
Okay.
big swirl, little swirl.
So
big
they
swirl,
would,
little
they
swirl,
would
little
just take
swirl.
out that pile of
Yeah,
100
yeah,
people
yeah,
and
yeah.
match them.
Yeah, go through it.
Very tedious. Okay.
Plus, they would also. I mean, they'd have a list of suspects.
Right.
I don't think it was like a database, like match it to anyone. They'd be like, he's a suspect. We lifted this print from that bottle, and then look at them.
But
But
why?
isn't it too now that like, for example, if they had fingerprints from a crime scene or whatever,
hmm
and they were my fingerprints, they wouldn't be able to match it because my fingerprints are not in any database.
Right. They wouldn't. They just know, like, we
no,
also
but
found these.
they would take your fingerprints when they arrested you,
Yeah.
and they
No,
would then match it to the scene of the crime.
He's been arrested 3 times, so he's in the database. But I'm saying, like, how did they the new unknown fingerprints? Like, how did they match it to their database? Because you have to kind of do it one at a time. It's
That's
not like
Right. So I would think that imagine there's like patterns, and then there must be suspects, a suspect pool that they look
Right.
up or something.
Okay. So then,
The world was a smaller place back then.
I
They were
guess.
like, oh, it sounds like something Patrick would do. You know, then they grab his fingerprint.
So he served 15 months in Wandsworth Prison, and then 2 years later, July 8th, 1965, he escaped by scaling the wall with a rope ladder and dropping onto a waiting removal van. He fled to Brussels by boat, then sent a note to his wife to join him in Paris, where he acquired new identity papers and was undergoing plastic surgery.
You don't think that the cops have been watching the wife after he escaped to like see where she went?
They did not.
They did not.
Saying
Shoddy.
1963, they didn't give a fuck. Who was it? Who did we cover that like broke out of prison like 6 different times? It was like
Right.
the same around. It was like
Right.
the same time
Right.
period.
It was what's his name?
Was it
Dillinger?
Whitey?
Dillinger.
Dillinger.
Oh,
Oh, so
Whitey,
Whitey
also.
too.
Whitey
Whitey,
also. Yeah, they escaped a lot easier.
They just did not care back then.
And then while he was in
You
prison,
know what it was? I think it's because they got rid of the death penalty for robbing mail trains. See, when you have the death penalty for a lot of different things, I bet crime goes
Goes down.
way down.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then while he was in prison, his wife had actually had an affair and was pregnant by the time this guy escaped. But she chose her husband, her criminal husband,
Wow.
and she did an illegal abortion and
Oh.
traveled with her 2 sons to Paris to join him.
Was she? Is it cheating if your husband's in prison?
No.
It's not.
Look how we all answered the same way.
No, it's definitely not.
And it's not cheating because if your guy goes to prison, I mean, he's guilty.
Yeah.
Then
Well, they don't know that
all
they're
bets are off.
guilty, but if you're in prison, it's like,
He was like sentenced to 30 years.
right.
like, oh
you
my
can't
God.
wait 30
Yeah.
years.
like, did you even think about me before you committed that crime?
Yeah, no.
Now I have to cheat on you. I'm sorry. Bye.
Ava tells him all the time in prison.
Yeah, that's her red line.
That's her red line.
Really?
But she has caveats with it.
She said if he's guilty.
She says, yeah, if you're innocent or you did like a thought crime, like something that was for a good purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, like if
Like
I,
Robin Hood.
yeah, or you know, if I like assassinate Adolf Hitler, you know, or something, yeah, then it's
Well,
different.
if you robbed a mail train, I don't think she's waiting for you.
No, if I rob a mail train, she's on the next train. As soon as those doors close behind me.
So in Paris, he gets plastic surgery, and then he goes in 1966 to Australia. He lived there in Sydney, and then in Adelaide.
Well, he gets to Australia,
Yeah.
plastic surgery in Paris,
Yes.
all the way makes it to Australia.
In 1966.
How'd he get there? He has passports?
Yeah, he got fake papers in Brussels.
Oh.
Or she said that they had fake papers. Oh, no, in Paris. He got fake papers for the whole
Mm.
family. I don't know what his new name is, though. It doesn't say here.
Mm.
Then in 1967, they had their third son. And he gets an anonymous letter, I guess, from a friend in England telling him that Interpol suspected that he was Australian and he should move. So he moves. He doesn't leave Australia. He just goes to Melbourne. And they rent a house there. And
Do you think he put on the whole Australian accent thing?
probably.
Right?
I don't know. Is it an easy switch from British to Australian?
I feel like it would be.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I feel like if your life
Tell us, Santina. Do both. She's good at accents.
It's that I used to be able to do an Australian one, but I can't anymore.
I feel like if your life depended on it, you could though.
Let's hear.
No, I can't do it anymore. Because I used to watch a lot of One Direction interviews, and then One Direction teamed up with 5 Seconds of Summer, who are Australian. So I started watching a lot of Five Sauce interviews. And what I feel like the difference is between like British and Australian is Australian, like they feel like they cut the words more. Like I don't think they say the full word as much as
Like-
English people.
Bobby?
Yeah,
Slip
and
a
they're
shrimp
more
on the
like
barbie.
there's
Ah.
more of a like they like the R sound.
Well, I used to watch that show where they turned into mermaids.
H2O.
Yeah.
Like because clear,
Clear.
right? Like and in British, the word Cleo, Cleo would be
Cleo,
like,
it's British.
British.
Right.
and then in Australian, but Claire,
Claire. Yeah, you're right.
do you understand?
Right.
Do you understand what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
There's quite a bit of difference.
Yes, they're all criminals.
It
Australia,
was a criminal
basically
colony.
a penal colony,
Yes.
and their ancestors were all bad people.
So is Georgia.
Georgia's the country or the state?
No, the state. The state was the penal colony in the U.S.
Indentured servants.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Anyway, so he goes to Australia. He gets a tip that he has to leave where he's in. He goes from Sydney to Adelaide. Then he gets a tip that he should move because the Interpol is closing in on him. Him and the family move to Melbourne, but he rents a house separate from his family.
Oh, smart.
So like, yeah, they live in one part of town and he lives in another. And he got a number of jobs in construction. And then he started working for a TV channel doing construction.
Uh-huh.
And in 1969, a newspaper report by how do you say Reuters?
Reuters, yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
A newspaper in 1969, a newspaper report by Reuters correspondent revealed that Biggs was living in Melbourne and claimed that the police were closing in on him. So basically, he got a tip again
By the reporters.
by the reporters, and it had because they did that report led to news TV report on the channel that he worked for that he was doing construction. So he got a tip that he had to get out of Dodge again. So he fled on a passenger liner from the port of Melbourne and got to Panama and then to Brazil. From Panama, the ship landed in Panama, and then from Panama he went to Brazil. But his family stayed back in Australia.
Question.
Yes.
What kind of plastic surgery did he have? Do you
It
remember?
doesn't say. It just says he
Must have
did-
been on his face, though.
Yeah, it just said
Okay.
plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Then when he was in Brazil, he has the affair and has a child in Brazil. So in 1974, his wife divorces him, and she's allowed to stay in Australia. So she stayed in Australia. She sold her story about him to an Australian media group for £40,000 so
You
that
see?
she could purchase her house.
You see, a woman scorned.
Yeah, well,
Just
he fucking deserved it.
just like Dr. Death, you see?
She
Wait,
stayed.
why?
What?
What?
I don't think.
You don't think she
I
scored?
don't think she deserved it.
No,
No,
he deserved.
he deserved it. We said.
Sorry, I don't think he deserved it.
Why?
She cheated on him when he was in jail. He got back together with her, brought her with him with his millies.
No, he didn't have the money.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
did.
didn't
He
have the-
must have.
No, he got caught.
He must have had the money stored. She must have had the money stored somewhere. Come on.
I don't know. They don't
I mean,
say
she
that.
cheated on him. and all
How are
he
you
did
going to
was-
buy fake papers in a passage to Australia?
Yeah, but she chose him. He chose the new person.
Oh, he chose the lady.
Well, he had a kid with her. She did. She had an abortion for the kid that she was pregnant with, and went to her husband. He decided
Okay,
to father
fine,
a
you're
Now,
child.
in his defense, the woman in Brazil,
Um,
just going to say,
BBL.
BBLs,
That's all you
there's
gotta
no reason.
say.
They don't call it the ABL.
so
It's not the
then,
Australian butt lift, okay?
so she sells the story, and she actually becomes a journalist, and
She becomes a journalist.
yes, and then she actually there's a big 5-part show docudrama, Mrs. Biggs, which recounts the couple's times from the first meeting to Biggs' flight to Brazil
Did they
So-
ever catch him in Brazil?
in 2012. We're gonna find out.
No patience.
In 1970, Biggs arrives to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Brazil did not have an extradition treaty with the UK.
Everybody knows that. That's why you go to Brazil.
Oh, this is sad, actually. In
Didn't you see a fish called Wanda?
yes,
Where were they heading through?
Brazil.
That's right.
In 1971, Biggs' eldest son, Nicholas, age 10, died in a car crash in Melbourne. That's very sad. In 1974, Daily Express reporter Colin McKenzie received information suggesting that Biggs was in Rio de Janeiro. So they sent a team there and a reporter and broke the story. Scotland Yard detective Jack Slipper, that's an interesting name, arrived soon afterwards, but Biggs could not be extradited because his girlfriend, nightclub dancer Raimunda de Castro, was pregnant. Brazilian law at the time did not allow a parent of a Brazilian child to be extradited. Well, now it explains why he had that kid.
Yeah, period.
Yeah.
He did what was necessary.
So you're
Yes.
saying he slipped out from between Detective Slipper's fingers?
Yes, Jack the Slipper.
All I'm gonna say is it's not that deep. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Train
he didn't
robbery?
He didn't kill anyone. He did some prison time. Like, can we do my tax-paying dollars for something better?
What if your very expensive furniture was on that train?
I don't give a fuck. Then the furniture company has to reimburse me.
Okay, but what if you are unable to get reimbursed? It's literally your only nice furniture.
So then you know what the government should do? Reimburse me instead of spending that taxpayer money trying to find this asshole in Brazil and Australia and there and that, and playing fucking Duck Duck Goose with him.
I feel like I have a
Duck
very
Duck Goose.
I think I have a higher drive towards justice than you do. I feel like you're willing to let a lot of things slide.
No, I believe in justice, but where it's due, like, is it that, like, it's just not that deep. Like, you're creating more harm than good. Like, you're spending so much this extra money that could be a lot, like, allocated in better places.
So you are also for the death penalty for stealing trains then?
No, I'm not.
I am.
Okay.
It's cheaper.
I'm okay with the death penalty in certain cases,
Okay.
but it's like
But not for robbing
he
the mail
just
train.
robbed like.
So we should get away with it? He
Like, you
broke
should
out
have-
of jail.
You know what we should do with that fucking money instead of finding him? Hire some fucking security guards for the train.
Fair.
Good point, but
So
he
listen.
broke out of jail.
There's just better things to do
People
with
who
money.
break out of jail become like number one priority for most
Yeah.
justice
You know what you should do with that
systems.
money? Make a bit more secure jail. Because now he just
They
gave
brought-
people ideas.
They probably did because he escaped pretty lamely. He didn't have to dig a hole. He just took a rope down the window and climbed down. That's
That's what
pretty.
I'm saying. Like,
That's pretty bad.
hire
Yeah.
That's
better
pretty
security.
embarrassing. That's
Hire
pretty
better
embarrassing.
security for the fucking jail. Hire better security for the train. Like, don't spend your money playing Duck Duck Goose with this guy, and he's making you look stupid all the while.
Okay.
Just let him live
Yes.
his life.
So he ends up living an interesting life. So in 1974 in Rio, Biggs, an avid jazz fan, collaborated with Bruce Henry, an American double bass player, James Shield, and Orero de Souza, and they recorded an album called The Mailbag Blues, a musical narrative of his life that he intended to use as a movie soundtrack. This album was left undiscovered until it was finally released in 2004.
Wait a minute! Don't tell me this guy just kept having babies with Brazilian women year
Look-
after year, so he could never
look.
be extradited.
No, he doesn't.
Oh. Because that's a plan.
In April 1977, Biggs attended an informal drinks party on board the Royal Navy frigate HMS Danae, which was in Rio for a courtesy visit.
Doesn't he know he could get nabbed on that? That's British property.
But he was not arrested.
What? The dude literally goes onto a British ship?
Though in Brazil he was safe from extradition, Biggs' status as a lone criminal meant he could not work, visit bars, or be away from home after 10 p.m. So to provide income, Biggs' family hosted barbecues at his home in Rio, where tourists could meet Biggs and hear him recount his involvement in the robbery.
Do you see how stupid the British government looks? Like, instead of just letting this guy fucking go and live in Australia and be low key with his wife and their kids, they have him become a famous fugitive in Brazil, constantly mocking them, writing blues songs, when all they could have done was just get better security for the fucking prison.
What I don't understand is your sentence before that was he couldn't leave his house after 10 p.m., therefore he couldn't make a living?
Yes, but...
Don't most people make a living from like 9 to 5?
No, he couldn't work. It said he couldn't work either.
I thought it said couldn't work after 10 p.m.
No, he couldn't work. He couldn't visit bars and be away from his home. Like he couldn't work. So he just basically he hosted people to come to his house.
Oh, okay.
He said he was even visited by former footballer Stanley Matthews. I don't know who that is, but I guess he was famous. Who Biggs afterwards invited to his apartment after hearing that he was in Rio. They had tea on a small balcony, and I guess he. Then also he had his own merch. He had Ronnie Bigs mugs, coffee cups, and T-shirts that appeared throughout Rio.
This is pre-internet. That's pretty big for Biggs.
And then Biggs recorded vocals on 2 songs for the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, Julian Temple's film about the Sex Pistols. The basic tracks for No One Is Innocent and Belson Was a Gas were recorded with guitarist Steve Jones and drummer Paul Cook at a studio in Brazil shortly after the Sex Pistols' final performance. So he continues this like musical career. In 1981, Biggs was kidnapped by a gang of British ex-soldiers. The boat they took him aboard suffered mechanical problems off Barbados, and the stranded kidnappers and Biggs were rescued by the Barbados Coast Guard and towed into the port of Barbados. The kidnappers wanted to collect a reward from the British police. However, like Brazil, Barbados was found to have no valid extradition treaty with the UK.
What? Isn't Barbados like a crown?
I thought it was.
I thought it was part of the British crown. Okay, fine. Maybe it's not.
And so Biggs was sent back to Brazil. In February 2006, Channel 4 aired a documentary featuring dramatization. Whatever. I'm going to skip that part. So he was sent back to Brazil. And then Biggs' son, the Brazilian son that he had, Michael Biggs, became a very successful Brazilian children's program and became part of a very successful Brazilian children's program and music band. So he was able to basically provide income for his family. In 1991, he sang vocals for some German punk rock bands. He was on an Argentinian punk rock band. This guy's living the life.
That's what I'm trying to say. And had the British government not been so fucking dumb, he would just be some nobody in Australia.
Yeah.
You're right.
He would be just some fucking guy in Australia with his original wife, children, just doing whatever Australians do.
They couldn't have known that, though.
And then in 1997, the UK and Brazil ratified an extradition treaty. 2 months later, the UK government made a formal request to the Brazilian government for Biggs' extradition.
Yeah.
Lame.
Biggs actually stated that he would no longer oppose extradition. I wonder why.
How old was he at that point?
1997, he's 68.
Yeah, I mean, he's lived a good life.
So, the extradition request was rejected by the Brazilian Supreme Court, giving Biggs the right to live in Brazil for the rest of his life.
Because it was like the crime was before the extradition.
I mean, just because you have an extradition, yeah, I guess.
Statute of limitations, difficulty proving the case.
He has a Brazilian child, and it sounds like it sounds like he's pretty well liked in Brazil.
They probably fucked with him. They probably fucked with his child star kid.
Yeah,
they're probably.
Yeah, he did.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't mind going back. But he's one of us now. Look at what the British do. They always fuck shit up.
Those Brazilians are G's.
This is the British are so
But-
stupid.
But in
Yeah.
2001, Biggs announced that he would be willing to return to the UK.
Well, just by himself.
So allegedly, I think he had some health problems that he thought he could get better health care in the UK. But his son, Michael, this is the Brazilian son,
Yeah.
said in a press release that contrary to some press reports, Biggs did not return to the UK simply to receive health care, which was not available in Brazil. And he had friends who would have contributed to such expenses, but it was his desire to walk into a Margate pub as an Englishman and buy a pint of bitter.
That was it.
Yeah.
He just wanted to feel like at home again.
Yeah.
So he went home?
He does.
Didn't they arrest him right at the airport?
So John Mills, the son of the train driver who they attacked to
Mhm.
whatever, was unforgiving. He said he deeply resents those, including Biggs, who have made money from my father's death.
Oh,
his father died?
Oh, suddenly it's a crime now, huh? Stealing your furniture wasn't enough.
No.
I didn't
A
know that he
person's
died.
life versus furniture, you just can't play the same. You can't compare.
Like you wouldn't kill somebody for furniture. You would totally.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
I mean, I don't see anywhere that he died. I don't know.
Well,
It wasn't in the charges, but he said no. This is not true. I'll read the rest of it.
Okay.
He said Mills never recovered from his injuries sustained during the robbery. He died of an unrelated cause, leukemia, in 1970.
Okay,
So that's different.
fuck that, bro. All they did was rob a train. So dumb.
In
just-
November 2001, Biggs petitioned for an early release on compassionate grounds based on his poor health.
on 2001, you said?
Yeah, just when he got back,
Right.
because he was detained. He
had some kind of
he
disease.
had 28 years left on his sentence, so he was detained upon his arrival.
Yeah.
His dad did his son paid for a private jet to take him from Brazil to London.
Oh, that's nice.
He's paid £20,000 to get him on a private jet.
Oh.
And when he arrived in May 7, 2001, he was arrested immediately. So in November, he petitioned for an early release based on his poor health. He had been treated 4 times at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in less than 6 months. His health was rapidly deteriorating, and he asked to be released into the care of his son for his remaining days. The application was denied. On October 10th, 2005, he contracted MRSA, and then they again sought for him to be released based on compassion. It was declined. His appeal was declined, stating that his illness was not terminal. The Home Office compassion policy is to release prisoners with 3 months left to live. In July 2007, he was moved from one prison to another prison on compassionate grounds. In December of 2007, he did a further appeal to be released to die with his family. I'm an old man and often wonder if I truly deserve the extent of my punishment. I have accepted it and only want freedom to die with my family and not in jail. I hope Mr. Straw decides to allow me to do that. I have been in jail for a long time and I want to die a free man. I am sorry for what happened. It has not been an easy ride over the years. Even in Brazil, I was a prisoner of my own making. There is no honor to being known as a great train robber. My life has been wasted.
What? Liar.
In January 2009, a series of strokes were said to have rendered him unable to speak or walk. His son Michael also claimed that the parole board might bring the release date forward to July. On 13th of February that year, it was reported that Biggs had been taken to hospital from his cell, and he was suffering from pneumonia. And then on April 2009, the parole board recommended that Biggs was released, having served 10 years of his 30-year sentence. Again, on July 1st, Straw did not accept the parole board's recommendation and refused
Wow.
parole, stating that Biggs was wholly unrepentant. On July 28th, Biggs was readmitted to Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital with pneumonia. He had been admitted to the same hospital a month earlier with a chest infection and fractured hip.
He's got to die. I mean,
but
fractured
Rich-
hip, pneumonia, stroke. I mean,
returned
he's got, how many organs does he have left?
He returned to prison, and his son Michael said this is the worst he's ever been. The doctors just told me to rush there. On July 30th, it was claimed by representatives of Biggs that he had been given permission to challenge a decision to refuse him parole. So then he was finally released on August 6, 2009, 2 days before his 80th birthday on compassionate grounds.
And then he robbed the train. No, and then what happened?
Following his release from prison, his health improved.
He got them.
Leading to suggestions.
Got him.
This just from prison is what was making him sick.
Leading to suggestions that he might soon be moved from hospital to a nursing home. In response to claims that Big's state of health had been faked, his lawyer stated, "This man is going to die. There is not going to be a Lazarus coming back from the dead. He is ill. He is seriously ill." However, Biggs himself stated, "I've got a bit of living to do yet. I might even surprise them all by lasting until Christmas. That would be fantastic."
Did he ever have that pint of bitter in Worcestershire where he wanted to go?
I think he did. In May 2010, Biggs was admitted to the hospital in London after complaining of chest pain.
This is May? It went from July all the way to May?
Yeah, the next year. So he survived past Christmas.
Yeah.
It's basically been almost a year. He's caught. And then in February,
You know what is? It's that plastic surgery.
in February 2011, so he was fine. In August 2010, he attended a big gala dinner to collect a Lifetime Achievement Award for his services to crime.
What?
His
They have
services to
award?
crime?
That's in
Yeah.
It
It was claimed by the Sunday Mirror
They
that Biggs
have-
would be attending a gala dinner where he would be collecting Lifetime Achievement Award for his services to crime.
They
I,
have such a thing?
I guess.
I thought that was like in Batman.
I don't
Like
know.
they have like the evil syndicate that has, awards for
I don't know.
crime. That's a real thing?
Look at what the British government, they made him.
I know.
They created this.
And then
It's that Jack Slippery.
in February 2011, again he went to the hospital on a suspected stroke, but he was
What, May 2011?
February 2011.
Okay.
He was admitted to the hospital on another suspected stroke. His son Michael said he was conscious and preparing to have a CT scan and a series of other tests to determine what had happened. Then November 2011, Biggs launched his new and updated autobiography, Ronnie Bigs, On Man Out, The Last Straw. He was unable to speak and used a word board to communicate with the press. And then in January 2011, ITV Studios announced that it commissioned a 5-part drama, Mrs. Biggs, to be based around the life of Biggs' wife, Charmian, played by Sheridan Smith, and Biggs by Daniel Mays. I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Charmian Biggs acted as a consultant on the series and traveled to Britain from Australia to visit Biggs in February 2012, just before filming Mrs. Biggs. In March 2013...
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
Wait. At the end of this podcast, is he going to walk through this door?
Yes, he's a surprise guest. He attended the funeral of his fellow train robber, Bruce Reynolds.
He outlived him.
He did. And he probably served his full sentence.
Did he also get an award from the Train Society?
In July 2013, The Great Train Robbery 50th Anniversary 1963 to 2013 was published with input from Biggs and Reynolds. And then on December 18, 2013, age 84, Biggs died
Wow.
in the Carlton Court Care Home in Barnet, North London, where he's being cared for. His death coincidentally occurred hours before the first broadcast of the 2-part BBC television series, The Great Train Robbery, in which Biggs was portrayed by actor Jack Gordon. His body was cremated at Golders Green Crematorium.
Oh, Golders Green. I know where that is.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yep. The coffin was covered with the Union flag, the flag of Brazil, and a Charlton athletic scarf. An honor guard of British Hells Angels escorted his hearse to the crematorium. He got buried in style.
Was Thomas the Train there?
The Reverend Dave Tomlinson officiated at Biggs' funeral, for which he drew public criticism. Tomlinson responded to critics by using the Bible verse, "Judge not, that ye be not judged." That was an interesting life.
He ate. He fucking ate down. No, he fucking devoured. Because
Yeah. I mean,
I hope
yeah.
every petty criminal lives that life.
That was, yeah.
That's what happens when you're dumb. They made that. He would have been a nobody in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He got an honorary send off.
Now, every time I go to a TV studio, I'm looking at the sound guy, at the production guy, at the carpenter. Like, what the hell did he do? In what country
Yeah.
did he do it? No, because he was just a background guy at the studio making a living, right?
Yeah.
And then
He was doing construction for the set.
doing construction for the sets. Mhm.
Yeah.
All he wanted was a down payment for a house.
It's true.
What he got was stardom,
Was stardom. Yeah.
infamy,
Infamy.
fame,
Yeah.
Oh,
a legend, a name.
He got a
For-
lifetime achievement award, a lifetime achievement award by the League of Evil People.
And you know who gave it to him? The British government.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Let's see if I can find what.
He got, you know what he got?
What? What'd he get?
60 minutes of our time
He
because
did.
the British government couldn't just let it go. Just let it go.
I'm telling you, when you
He
break out of
escaped-
prison, they take that personally.
But he escaped with a fucking rope from the window. Look within. Hold the mirror up to your face.
You're saying it wasn't like a
That was a learning moment. That was a learning moment for themselves. But because they could not be humble for 1 second in their lives,
right.
they went on this wild goose chase, which
Oh.
led to
I have an
a great
article.
84-year life.
So this says, what procedures did the robber get to disguise his appearance? Ronnie Bigs plastic surgery. Let's see what he got.
The plastic surgery was kind of irrelevant because
Yeah.
for the majority of the story, everyone knew who he was.
It says after the escape, he distorted his face with plastic surgery, literally getting a new face so he'd be unrecognizable, and he also acquired a new identity on paper.
So he must.
The-
I'm guessing he had a nose job, ears, something with his ears, maybe his lips, eye lift. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways you can. Cheek implants. I mean, there's lots of ways to make yourself look unrecognizable.
Let's see. He got to get to it.
You know what I was thinking, Rosie, is people who are like do really bad in plastic surgery residency, they're just not good surgeons. That could be a specialty. I can make you look unrecognizable. Criminals come to me.
Yes.
It's not good plastic surgery, but you won't look like the same person you walked in as.
Oh wow! It says Ronnie Bigs got 40,000 pounds worth of plastic surgery. That's 750,000 pounds today to disguise himself.
It's like $1
to the-
million.
Yes, but it doesn't say what he did. Not much is known about the plastic surgery that Ronnie Bigs underwent to disguise himself. But
HIPAA.
but looking at a picture of him in which he was happily posing for the camera while on the run in 1970, his cheeks appeared a lot puffier and his face seemed distorted with the cosmetic operation. People could only tell it was him because of his cheeky grin.
I'd have the cheekiest fucking grin in the world too if I were him.
Ronnie Bigs really managed to make his life by
Oh
distorting
yeah, I
his
see
face
it.
with plastic surgery.
I see the before and after pictures.
So what do you think he got?
Yeah, he does look different.
Let me see. Which one is the before?
I think the one on the left is before.
He looks more square.
Yeah.
How do you do that? In 1963.
Yeah, just nose job for sure. Yeah, they contoured his brows, cheeks, chin, everything.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it from the expert. What Ronnie Bigs did. His
Oh, wait
surgery.
a minute. Here's another picture. Oh, we're way different. Yeah, he did his chin. He did his cheeks. He did his nose. He did his eyes. Somewhat.
Let me see. Pass it along. What do you think he got, Dr. Izzy? You know what's funny? The doctor did a bris over the weekend for Chaim's nephew, or
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he was like telling the doctor, he's like, "Yeah, you did a great job." I was like, and I told him like Dr. Rizzi would have done better. He's like,
He's like, yeah, Dr. Rizzi was great.
He looks the same to me, just older. He just looks older. He's the exact same eyes. Even his nose is still fucked up.
No, but there's another picture where his nose
The
is
only
skinnier.
thing is that I think he put like fat in his chin or some shit.
An implant or something.
Because his chin is
they
Why
had
more
they had
round?
Yeah,
implants. They had implants in 1963.
Of course, Marilyn Monroe had a chin implant.
no, she didn't. Don't say
she
that.
did. When her plastic surgeon died, he put in his will. There was like a 50 years after like the HIPAA stuff, whatever. They released her medical records, and it was the whole op report and everything.
How is that okay? Marilyn
Because-
Monroe has been like one of the most violated people in all of
I
history.
know. Well, because they auctioned off. He as part of his estate left the medical
looks-
records of Marilyn Monroe, and then they auctioned them off. And
Oh, wow.
they used I think a bovine, like a
They should
literally like cow
post-mortem
cartilage.
sue him for.
How did I get infected or rejected or?
People do.
Yeah,
all
no,
kinds
he
of
looks
shit.
different. He looks more square and.
Yeah.
He's such a dick. Her plastic surgeon.
All right,
Well,
guys.
he was dead, so.
So that was
That mother.
the crazy life of Ronnie Bigs on the run from 1965 till 2001. And really, he could have been on the run forever. He just decided to
He was just like-
come back home.
He did his victory tour. He was like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And we will see you guys in 2024. Have a great holiday, New Year, everything. And we'll be back.
Stay beautiful.
Say goodbye, Santina.
Goodbye, everyone. I hope you have a great end of the year. I hope everyone has as wonderful a life as Mr. Biggs.
Ronnie Bigs.
Ronnie Bigs.
Yes, party like Ronnie Bigs.
Yeah.
Do you know that we're the number one true crime podcast in the Democratic Republic of the Congo?
Thank you,
Last week.
Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you for listening. And other countries, catch up. Have a great holiday, New Year. We love you guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.